Hello everyone. In this session, we are briefly going to discuss about one of the most widely used techniques called edge detection, especially in the traditional computer vision tasks. In the modern computer vision, that is in building a proper convolutional neural networks, we necessarily cannot include the fixed kernels. When I say fixed kernels, the values associated to a specific kernel are fixed in nature. So we need not use these type of filters because the whole purpose of convolutional neural network or any deep learning models is to try and understand what the optimal values are for different model parameters, right? Maybe we can use these type of kernels which are specialized in identifying the edges in the initial convolutional layer so that we are perceiving the low level features pretty well. Okay, I believe you have understood the distinction between the traditional computer vision tasks, that is specifically the image processing tasks, where we essentially use kernels like Sobel kernels in order to identify the edges or contours that you are observing here, right? So the values to this particular kernel are fixed in nature in traditional CV or in image processing tasks. But the values for this particular kernel, even though this is a kernel in your initial convolutional layer, the values are not fixed in nature. We leave it to the optimization process in order to understand what the right values for that particular kernel is. Okay, I believe it's pretty much clear now, and let's proceed further and try and understand it a little better by considering a specific example here. So I have considered a sample image data, which again is of shape 6 by 6. The Sobel filter that I have used here is of shape 3 by 3. This generally is a square matrix. So whatever filter or kernel that I have considered for performing the convolution operation is generally a square matrix as I have depicted here. And we also are observing the feature map on the right hand side. So whatever filter that I'm having now, I generally apply this particular filter onto the different localized regions within this particular image data. The very first convolutional operation is performed on this particular patch that I have highlighted. So now obviously we perform element wise multiplication, like -1 multiplied by 0 plus -2 multiplied by 0, so on till 0 multiplied by 1. So obviously, since all of these values within the image data, this particular patch or localized region are zeros, the result of which also is zero. If you can observe here, the result or the value associated with this particular convolution operation in the feature map is given as zero. Same is the case with all the subsequent convolutional operations till you exhaust all of these particular patches or all of these localized regions in this particular context, right? So once you exhaust all of these subsequent convolution operations, when you apply row stride is equal to 1, when you move on to the subsequent row, this will be your localized region. So this is a patch that now you'll be considering for performing the convolution operation. And this time around, since you have values that are provided here, like though you perform this element wise multiplication by considering -1, -2, -1, 0, 0, and 0, it will still result in a value of 0 since the first two rows within this particular patch are going to be zeros here. So 1 multiplied by 255 plus 2 multiplied by 255 plus 1 multiplied by 255, which is going to result in a value of 1020. So this is the result of the convolution operation specifically for this patch. The associated value in the feature map is given here. You continue performing these convolution operations and this is what you observe. And now let's consider applying this particular convolution operation to this image patch or the last convolution operation that we can consider. So this is a target pixel that we can consider. This is a final target pixel that we can consider. And the associated value here within the feature map is given as 0. The result is 0. And we'll try to understand how it is 0. So -1 multiplied by 255 is -255. -2 multiplied by 255 here is going to produce a value of -510. Then -255 again. Plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 since all of these values are zeros. And then 1 multiplied by 255 is plus 255. 2 multiplied by 255 is going to result in 510 and then 255. So these terms get cancelled out with each other and the resultant value is 0. That's what we are observing here. Okay. So whatever data that you are observing within your image data ranges in between 0 to 255. We clearly understand that this section here is of low intensity and this section here is of high intensity. Looking at the feature map, We also observe that a specific area is of low intensity since the value is 0, and the specific area of this particular feature map is of high intensity. When we do a normalization on this given feature map, this is what you observe. So the normalized feature map will have values, a maximum value of 255, which is for row 2 and row 3. And row 1 and row 4 basically are having values of 0 because that's what is resultant from the convolution operation that we have performed. Okay. And how we attain this particular feature map of shape 4 by 4? It's essentially by applying the same formula that we have already discussed. That is x minus m plus 1 and y minus n plus 1, where x and y are nothing but the shape of the image, that is 6 by 6. M by n is going to be the shape of the filter here. So 6 minus 3 plus 1 comma 6 minus 3 plus 1 is going to result in value of 4 comma 4, and that's what we are observing for the normalized feature map here. Okay. We clearly understand that this is a white section. Since this is of high intensity, this here is of high intensity, we observe the color gradient to be white. And this section here is already dark since the resultant values that you are observing, since the resultant pixel values that you are observing is associated to as 0 here. So we clearly can perceive that this is an edge that we have identified. This is a horizontal edge that we have tried to identify. We also can consider a different Sobel filter by considering performing an edge detection for a different type of data. Let's say that we are now having the image data that is being represented as follows, right? All the first 3 columns are going to be zeros. All the first 3 columns are now going to be zeros. And the subsequent 3 columns are now going to be ones here. Let's consider this hypothetical scenario where you are observing the first 3 columns to have values of 0 and the last 3 columns to have values of 1. Or obviously, let's say that this is a normalized image data. So this is a normalized image data that you are observing. Or probably you can substitute 1 with 255 for the image data which is not normalized. Okay. Let's say that we have this particular image data that's now represented. And obviously I am now transposing this Sobel filter as well. As we can observe, this is a transposed data of your actual image data. I can also transpose my Sobel filter. And now the Sobel filter, a kernel, typically will have the columns as -1, -2 and -1, 0, 0 and 0, 1, 2 and 1. The rows are becoming columns and columns are becoming rows here. Now, once we perform this convolution operation on different localized regions within this particular image data, you are now going to get a normalized feature map, which is identifying a vertical edge. We clearly know the edge is present here since we are observing a low intensity region and a high intensity region well separated. Obviously, you can expect the data to be of this form, where in the first column of your normalized feature map, you observe zeros. The second and third column of the normalized feature map, you typically observe these high intensity values as follows, right? And the last column is going to have values of 0. Okay, I believe you have pretty much understood on how you have tried to identify the edges using 2 different Sobel filters, one of which is specialized in identifying the horizontal edges and the other one is specialized in identifying the vertical edges. Okay, as I have mentioned to you earlier, these filters typically will have the values that are fixed in nature in traditional computer vision tasks. If at all you are trying to perform the edge detection in traditional CV and you are looking at identifying the edges or contours, the values for this particular kernel are fixed. If at all you are looking at implementing edge detection or trying to derive the low level features in the initial convolution layer, you still can go about using this Sobel filter. But please keep in mind that the values associated with this filter will change as the training process begins. Okay. So the learnable parameters or the weights are nothing but the values present within this particular kernel here. It's a good initialization technique, especially if you would want to have all of the low level features defined within your initial convolution layer. But CNN has got this innate ability of trying to identify all the edges, all the contours or any other objects as such. It has got that ability. The optimization process itself will try to adjust the weights repeatedly and try to find one such optimal combination of weights for different kernels that you must have used that is going to identify low level features to high level features. As the number of convolutional layers increases, as we move forward in the convolutional layers or in the network, we observe more and more abstract features to be derived. The initial convolutional layer might be specialized in extracting the low level features, but the later convolutional layers should be specialized in extracting all the higher level features. Okay. So with this as a context, we'll move forward in discussing more about filters and kernels and how we typically consider RGB image data, the color image data, and try and perceive how the convolution operation is done and what could be the shape of the kernels of filters that we are eventually going to use and how can we create multiple such convolutional layers. Let's expand the overall CNN architecture to a much broader level and try to implement it moving forward. Okay, so that's all in this particular session, and thanks for watching.